Hello, welcome back. In today's video I'm going to be in a slightly different place to normal, and I'm going to be talking to you about some lighting effects that I've done in the Magical Man Cave. So the first thing, I guess, is that we're going to need to change the lighting so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk to you about is these awesome candles. They're electronic and they don't burn my hand, which I think is really quite a bonus. These ones I bought from Amazon. Not only are they electric, and obviously you've got this little switch at the bottom here that can turn them off and on again. They're all battery powered. I actually changed those recently because they did start to run out of battery. And because I've got quite a lot of them, it took quite a long time to change all the batteries over. Now these are electric, which means that I don't have to burn myself if I put my hand over. It doesn't pose a fire risk if I hide them underneath shelves and stuff like that with wood and all of that sort of thing. They are battery powered, which means it's slightly inconvenient, but it does at least mean that they're portable. And because they're portable, they can go up here in these little sconces that hang from the ceiling, which I think looks really awesome, hanging above my head, and adds kind of a nice ambience of firelight, I guess. The colour, I think, is also important. I'll explain that in just a moment. They're made of wax and plastic and electric stuff, and they take batteries, so you can turn them off, turn them on. Lovely. The cool thing, though, is that they actually are also infrared, so they respond to infrared signals. Now the cool thing about that is that if you've got one of these things up here, this is an infrared beamer. So this is a SwitchBot Hub 3 Mini, and it links in with my smart home system. And what's really awesome about that is that I can ask Alexa, shh, best not say her name, to turn the lights on and off. And when I do, it turns on the candles as well. So the candles are kind of sequestered all around my Magical Man Cave, including up here in the sconces and also over in the corner as well. So these candles, I think, add an awful lot to the ambience of the space and the sort of flickery lights and the fire and all of that sort of thing. Now, if I were to show you this sort of thing instead, this one is much whiter. So the color of this sort of orange versus this sort of thing, I think this is cool because when it goes up here, you can't really see the light source, but you can see the light being reflected off the snitch, and that's all cool. But these, you can actually see where the source of the light is coming from, and so it needed to be that sort of orange, fiery kind of glow. The next thing I wanted to show you was this underwater light that I've rigged up within the Magical Man Cave. The whole idea for this entire Magical Man Cave is a bit of escapism, and obviously somewhere to film these YouTube videos, but also when I'm not filming, I just kind of want to come here, relax, and get away from everything. So I thought that one of the best ways of doing that would be to make this space as variable as it can be. It could be literally anywhere. And so I thought, what better place than maybe underwater? So I've used something called caustics. Now caustics happen where light is both focused in some places and focused away from other places. And the most obvious place to see that is in a swimming pool, where the light beams come down through the water and the rippling of the water creates like a weird lensing effect. So you see all the ripples on the bottom of the pool. So that is a caustic, and I thought, well, I could probably create a similar sort of thing in the Magical Man Cave by having a lamp on a rotating light source around a plastic bulb, where the bulb itself is also dimpled in a similar way to how the water would look. Provided that that sort of rotates in a semi-random fashion, it should create these sorts of ripples and it should look quite good. So I think it does. Let me know what you think down in the comments, but this one was filmed yesterday evening, and it gives an idea as to what it feels like in the Magical Man Cave when this effect is going on. All of the lights need to be off in order for this effect to really be effective, because otherwise all of the other light sources not going through this sort of caustic action, it kind of ruins the effect. But this makes it feel like the whole place is underwater, almost like the Little Mermaid kind of feel. The next stage is to add some water sound effects in the ceiling speakers. Now, if you want to find out more about the ceiling speakers, have a look at this video that I've linked up here. I think it'll change your view of how the Magical Man Cave works quite a lot. So although I had a lamp that could create these caustics, I didn't have a way to mount it. And so what I decided to do was to not only design and 3D sculpt a mount for it, but also to print it on my 3D printer. I'm going to be doing a bit more on 3D printing and particularly how to design these parts, because I've recently designed a name tag for Ferdinand. Now, if you do know who Ferdinand is, fantastic, but if you don't, have a look at this video up here. You will not be disappointed, I promise. He's probably one of the best things within this Magical Man Cave. And although I've designed the name tag I also was focused too much on the 3D design and not enough on the spelling, so it didn't print very well. I will do another one. I'll do a full video about the name tag design and all of that sort of stuff, and how to create the name tag for Ferdinand a bit later on. But I think it's worth watching. So we've got quite a bit of variability already. We've got a candlelight, we've got the water scene. What else could we have? Well, I've already done a video about thunder and lightning in the Magical Man Cave, and if you want to find out more about that, have a look at this video up here. Now, if you like this video, please click that like button, subscribe, ding that bell, and if you want to become a member and see these sorts of videos before everyone else on this channel, have a look down in the description. I've left the links there. I'm going to be back next time with some more magical awesomeness, but until next time, as always,
Stay magical.